Hey friends, I am in my backyard and we're gonna do an October garden tour. I don't think I've ever done a garden tour in October before, but it's beautiful out. It's about 80 degrees. It's October 4th or 5th, something in that first week, and we are having unseasonably warm weather, which is supposed to go away in about a week. But I thought this would be a really good way to show you how the garden really looks as compared to how it looked, how beautiful in July. This is the reality of what you have at the end of it, what you have to clean up, what you have to do. So we're gonna go through and just take a look, and it's gonna be messy and ugly, but that's the truth of what the garden is right now. Hey little garden dog. All right, so the truth of what's going on right now is my deck is full of chicken poop because I let the chickens free range this time of year. They go through and get a lot of bugs. It helps them get some extra protein because this is the time of the year where they molt, which means they lose their feathers and get new ones. So the extra protein helps with that. And I also let them come in and kind of clean these beds out, hand poop in them and make them better. So if you look back here, they've pretty much cleaned this bed out for me of all the plant stalks and weeds and stuff that were in it. Right, Claudia? Claudia is still a crazy chicken. This is one that was getting picked on. How's it going, girl? She is just flighty. I don't know if she was traumatized or if she was traumatized because she's flighty. I don't know, which is first, chicken or the egg? I don't know. So this bed over here, on the bottom, pretty much I just have these beautiful nasturtiums still. Everything else other than the green onions in the middle is pretty much done. This was peppers. We pulled a lot of that out and the chickens have gone through and kind of taken care of the rest. This back looks awful. These are tomato plants and they are actually still producing tomatoes on the ends. And I don't have a frost in sight. Well, it's in sight, but it's not in my 10-day forecast. So I'm just taking them as they ripen and bringing them in the house and using them. And then mixed in between that, I have got these beans, and I don't remember which variety I did here, but I'm letting them dry out, and there's lots of them growing. The more the tomato plants die back, the more the beans are kind of taking over. And I'm letting those all dry out for dried beans. So pretty much this whole thing right here is just drying beans and whatever tomatoes I can get before we get a frost. Any flowers that were in here are kind of on their way out. Got some drying zinnias. Look at this little teeny tiny one. It's beautiful. Here is what a dried zinnia head looks like. I cut this whole head off and save it for seed. And here are some snapdragons that are dried out, and I'll save those for seed too. Save flower seeds. It's so easy. Back in here, this is the famous spot where the girls dust bathe right now, and where my dogs apparently dust bathe. If you didn't see that picture the other day, my dogs were curled up in here trying to be like chickens. I do have a lot of really pretty zinnias up in here still. Super. This is the Baneri Giant Lilac, I think is that one. It's really, really pretty. In here is that center cut squash. And it is pretty much done. It's getting powdery mildew. I'm going to probably cut this back a little bit later in the season just because it's not hurting nothing. It's kind of covering and providing some shade for my chickens. What I'll do is I'll come in and cut all this down. And I think I'm going to try and put some plastic over the top of my chicken coop this year. They don't need it. They're okay. Well, hello, honey. However, I think if I put just plastic on the top portion, it would keep their bedding a little bit drier. Look at these guys bouncing back. These are those Marguerite chamomiles. They kind of got beat back a little bit in the summertime, but they're doing really, really well now. Lovely. These are the scabiosas. I saved quite a few seeds from these. They look like this when they go to seed. And then the seed heads just kind of pop out. And this is Anna's hyssop. And these are all seeds. And I should have cut that back because this self-seeds like crazy. Ooh, I got some really good basil back in here too. Nice. Didn't see that. What's up, ladies? How's it going? Got a little bit of calendula still trying. And then back in here, let me back up for you. Here's the walkway to get in the back. Here's the rest of the center cut squash. And it's making squash still on the ends. The chicken's got a hold of that one a little bit. There's some giant ones back in here. And I'm letting these ones harden up. I'm gonna let this part go dry, and I'm gonna use these as winter squash and store them at this point now. I've got as much summer squash as I want. Look at this big bad boy. Like, he's huge, just ginormous. Yeah, so I'm gonna start pulling those as their tops dry out a little bit and use them as winter squash. Let's go back here and check out. Here's another one. This one's still pretty green yet. I could probably eat this one as a summer squash still, but I'm not going to. Another big guy right there. You can see, hi Jane. There's a bunch of them down on the ground. And then look up here, hang on. All right, there's my compost pile. You can see how much it's sunk down over the summer. All this greenery that's not powdery mildew is gonna go back in there. Those chickens are super excited. But look over here, so I wanna show you. I got another pumpkin, and this is a pretty big pumpkin. To me, it does not look like my sugar pie pumpkin I planted back here. I'm trying to remember if I planted another variety. I've gotten 2 sugar pie pumpkins out of the backyard. Maybe a third, we'll see. And then back here in my back fence, I do have some purple beans that I'm letting dry out. And I'm gonna use those as a hard bean. Look what's back here. You see those? Those are tromboncinos. That's hilarious. I didn't even plant those this year, guys. Those planted themselves. Look, there's 1, 2, 3 of them back there. We need to go investigate that in a minute. Back out here, it looks like I have beautiful tomatoes here, but they are all buggied and blighted. Look, I'll show you. Like, see the blight on the back sides of them. So those are all pretty much done for the year and can get cut out. This is that squash. And the chickens have been in here as well, going through and cleaning it up for me. Looks really good. This little section right here had the melons in it. Those are all gone. I've been cutting these cosmos down. Remember these pretty cosmos that were here? I was out here actually in the middle of saving seeds from them. So I'm going through and cutting all the seed heads off, and then I'm gonna cut all this down and just drop it right here and make a compost pile here too, because my soil level's really low. I probably got a couple inches here. So I can fill up stuff here too, which will deteriorate over the winter, and I will end up getting better soil there because of it. Heading out to the driveway, I do have celery here. This is the celery that I left to regrow, and pretty much I'm just feeding the rabbit with it. But look at this calendula. You're nice and big, aren't you pretty? Aww. I don't have too many calendula left after I went through and gave them all haircuts. These are all the strawberries that we have. They'll come back in the spring. Nothing over here worked. These are actually volunteer calendula. I thought some spinach was coming up. Nope. But I do have a very nice, healthy parsley plant here. You can see I just went through and did a big harvest of it. I'll probably do another one here this week and try and get as much parsley in as I can. Over here, I have got these cosmos. They're so pretty, but they're dead too. They're on my list to go through and take the seed heads and then cut them back. And here is the giant sunflower. Let me tell you guys, this sunflower amazes me. You hear those chickens? They're being crazy. Most of the sunflower looks half dead. But remember, I didn't even plant the sunflower, and it's still popping heads out all over the place. I don't have the heart to cut it down. I bet you it's made 100 heads, if not more. Look, there's still bees up here eating it. So I'm leaving her up there, and back behind here I do have a couple more those Dr. Wyche's tomatoes, and then this one's probably going to be done too. Look, I brought these pretty mums, you know, from a local dance girl who's selling mums for a fundraiser. Do you think they made it to my porch? Nope, hanging out in my backyard where nobody can see them. It's looking a lot more like fall over here. All the leaves from the tree are dropping. This all just needs to be cleaned up. I did have peas in here, and something came through and ate them all. So I got nothing. I have beans right here that are nice and dry. I should pull these in the house tonight. And then this is all done. These guys look lovely, well into winter. These actually look really good too. So this, you see this guy right here? This is gonna dry up and that's gonna be the seed. Like look right here. Here's a good one. This is a seed. I'm gonna save those to grow these myself. And I'm actually gonna try and keep this plant in the house. I'm gonna try and repot it into sterile soil because I don't wanna introduce any buggies into my house. And I'm gonna see if I can keep it alive. It's the best looking one. I'm gonna see if it'll make it. Over here, this is still making cherry tomatoes, but they're not very big and they're pretty much done. And these peas are also being eaten up. I can't seem to get fall peas correct. I don't know. And then this box, same thing. The zinnias are kind of on their last hurrah, but they're really fall colored, aren't they? I'm probably gonna clean this out and leave those zinnias alone. They look like they belong there for fall. That was definitely not intentional. I love fall. I love this tree. It drops the prettiest yellow leaves. These guys are my hydrangeas that never bloomed. But it's their first year after being transplanted, so I'm not going to stress out about it. I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Same thing over here. This is my lemon tree, which has a bunch of weeds in there. Needs a good cutting back and needs it brought into the house for the winter. These are super pokey, but I gotta find a good spot to try and get it. I'm not killing this lemon tree, but I'm not getting lemons. So, I don't know, I guess we're at a stalemate. Back up here against the house, all that's going on back here is this clematis getting ready for winter. Nothing else. Look, that lemon tree made me bleed. Rotten thing. Going around the corner. Look at these cardinal flowers. These cardinal flowers are pretty, but you need to have them in such a big mass group to make them look good. The hydrangeas on her fall blooming. She's pretty. She's doing really good. And up over here, all the things that used to be really pretty and colorful are dying on out. You can see I've got a bunch of beans there. Those are all runner beans. I'm saving those for seed. Bunch of spent snapdragons, there's seed there. The black-eyed Susan, same thing. I'm gonna come cut all the seed heads off and then trim her back. Pretty much I got a giant list of saved seed heads. But these bees are all out here still looking for food. Hey, this guy's on my dahlia. These are annuals, they'll be gone as soon as the first frost hits. Back in the back, I've got little bit back there, but not much. This pretty much all needs to be cut back. The sage looks fantastic. I do need to harvest a little bit more sage, bring it in the house. And then over here, look at that crazy daisy. Look at these daisies have been done forever. And I got this one crazy daisy that's like, nope, here I am, friends. Bucking the system, girl, I like it. This looks really pretty with these multicolored leaves. That's an nasturtium. And then these leaves all changing color. That's columbine. It just looks really pretty together. I like it. Here's another spent Cosmo. Saving the seeds from that. This kale is lovely. I need to get some of this into the house. That'd be really good in a soup, I betcha. Oh, look, it's getting aphids. I might have to give some to the chickens. And it's a pretty snapdragon. I didn't get too many of these this year, but it's really pretty. I hope some of the seeds that I saved are this kind. Here's the crazy cabbage that I've never harvested. Oh, I don't even know if it's worth it. It's probably gonna be chicken food. Look at that dahlia. She pretty. She so pretty. See, I got a bunch of snapdragons here. Again, I'm just going through and cutting off the spent ones, saving the seeds. Oh, let's look at the dahlias up here. These are some of my favorites. I think I've mentioned a time or 100 how happy I am that I took the time to grow those. So you see how those spent heads are right there? I can get more seeds out of that and grow them from seed again. And there might be tubers underneath the ground when I go to dig them up. Look at this bright yellow one. Ugh, she's lovely. Oh, I couldn't have staged that better if that bee was an actor on my payroll. Nice, baby. The Tithonia will stay in full bloom up until the frost too, and then behind her I do have those runner beans You can see they're green right now. Those are all gonna dry out for me. I'll make sure I get those harvested before the frost. Kind of a bummer on beans this year. Didn't get a whole lot to eat fresh. Here's that Dara. It's got the purple in it. I've tried saving some of those seeds. She's about ready to get cut back. And these nasturtium have just taken off in the last week or two. I was kind of thinking they were duds this year, but they look great. As does this. Hey girl. That's a cactus zinnia, or a cactidalia. No, a cactus zinnia. Oh, Mama's losing her mind. A cactus zinnia. You're pretty. She volunteered here. And then we talked here a little bit about the fence. I've been cleaning through, coming through, and here's the Brussels sprouts that I just don't think are going to amount to anything. You can see there's some down there, but they're not going to get big enough. I'm going to end up giving these to the chickens. Here's another one. Look at, I got tomatoes. These are fun. I'll have to come back through and pick those when I'm done. Look, I got a red one right here, right next to a dried bean, right next to another red one. They're just lovely. And I gotta cut these last few sunflowers down. They are done. Out in the full garden, this is mostly all done too. This is all just pretty much ready to be, it's invaded by bugs. I just need to pull these all up and give them to the chickens. They will be so excited. I need to find a pair of gloves and do that. I do have peppers up here. These are fish peppers. I'm gonna pull all these hot peppers at the same time. These, I think, are sweet peach. And then these are all hot peppers too. And I've got a group of them right over here, cayennes. All the hot peppers I'm gonna pull out and make some more hot sauce. Look at them all. Here are all those honey nut squash. That one's not ready yet, but you can see they're all starting to turn orange. That's what I want. And these are a winter squash. They're gonna stay all year. So I'm gonna pull those pretty soon. And I've got one watermelon here. I don't know if it's gonna make it. I don't think it is, but I'll leave it there until it's fall, officially. This zinnia patch in the middle is just magical. This is probably the most colorful spot in my urban garden right now. It even looks fallish, doesn't it? All the pretty colors. Look, I got buds still coming. You beautiful girl. And didn't I tell you these calendula would come back? Remember I cut them all down? There's a couple. Here's a couple. Still feeding the bees. I have several of these shishito pepper plants still here. I picked them pretty clean last time, but I got a good amount. I'll probably get one more big harvest out of theirs for us to eat fresh. And then look over here. It is October, people. And look, I can come out and harvest fresh zucchini. What in the world? I love it. And here's my other little pile of zinnias. These ones look nice and fresh. Look at this one. This one's going back a little bit, drying out. And it gets this really pretty, I don't know if you can really see it or not, like double color. You're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. No, you're gorgeous. Ooh, look at this red one. I love zinnias. So this part of my garden is beautiful, but the rest of it, as you can tell, she's on her way out. So I'm pretty much gonna spend the next week saving as many seeds as I can, cutting back what I can while it's still nice out, because pretty soon Michigan is gonna be like, nope, I forgot, we're supposed to be making things real cold and windy right now. And I don't think I got a ton of time left, but I'm gonna enjoy what I got, get some seeds saved for next year, and I don't think you're gonna get a November garden tour. You guys have a great night, and I will see you soon.